Ladies and gentlemen, hello and welcome to... Ladies and gentlemen, a big welcome to the Friday Prep. It is June 12th. Today, we got plenty of great action in the FIFA World Cup. Today is the Friday landing, and we did go 2 for 2 in the parlay. So this, for me, and for anyone else who did it, especially sweat-free, was a triple the money, 3.5 times the money. I put $20 on this one. I got about 70, just over 60 back. It was a good one, but let's go through the action. This is going to be the recaps. This is how I'm going to do it. You see there's the score line, couple big goal scorers. So in the 9th minute, Mexico got up in this game very early, and they were able to hold on. Raul Jimenez, who we talked about, big headline striker for Mexico, was able to get on the board. Now, the reason why I show this view of the game right here is that so you can see some overall player ratings from pundits and experts. You can see, obviously, great attack from overall great chemistry in the attack from Mexico. Midfield held its line pretty well. Mexico did have a player get sent off. South Africa had 2 get sent off. You can also see quite a disparity in shots on goals. 61% possession for Mexico. Mexico was in full control of the game. Clearly showed that they were of superior class compared to South Africa. We look at South Africa and the way that they broke down. You can see that this formation, 5 defenders at the back, but still wasn't as aggressive as they could have been. They were back defending. They were forced to get out forward a little bit more and a little bit earlier than they would have liked to. That is one of those things that we'll have to see how it goes later on in their next matches. If they get down, if they get up in the score, we'll have to see. They play South Korea, and they play, so you see the other 2 matchups that we're about to talk about. South Korea onside Czechia. Those are the 2 other teams in that group. We'll see how South Africa fares against those. Let's go to South Korea. We'll look at this next matchup. This was actually a very exciting matchup. Czechia got up early. Well, not early, but in the 59th minute. They were the first to score. They took a 1-0 lead in the game, but what a composed response from South Korea. This is a huge strength that we've seen in the last few World Cups for South Korea. They have a way of being very composed when losing. We saw that even back in 2018 in their match against Germany. We've just seen that South Korea has this very mild manner to themselves. They don't get too high. They don't get too low in matches. Something about their culture, something about the way they do things that really shows on this soccer field. South Korea was able to get 62% of the possession. They were able to put up 15 shots, even though 7 were on goal. So that's typical. About half on target. It's pretty good. Czechia was able to make a few of the good opportunities. They had some chances at the end to really equalize, but it was South Korea with a big second half. Now, we talked about Heung-min Son. He was taken out of the game. You saw he didn't really get involved. He got subbed off. But overall, great composure on that 3-man defense with 2 wingbacks. Very good overall composure in the midfield as well. But even for Czechia showed relative consistency throughout the game. They did a lot of great things too. And you look at their player ratings, you can see various ratings all across the park. But there were times where they looked overwhelmed in that 3-man defense. And I saw from about the second half, the 49th minute, to about the 79th minute, that's right before that goal scored. I mean, it was 1-1, and then they scored right after. I had to get on to something. But Czechia overall, very solid performance from what I was able to see in that time. They scored the goal. They were able to hold up well. They did concede the tying goal, but they still tried to attack throughout the match, and that's something you do like to see. We got our 2 matchups today. Enough of yesterday. We got Canada versus Bosnia coming up in Toronto. It is the debut of the Canadian team. And we got later on tonight, 10 p.m. Eastern, 9 o'clock Central. We got, I think it's 9 o'clock Eastern, 8 o'clock Central. We got the United States and Paraguay. What a great matchup. What a great day for the United States team. This is the new era of United States soccer that's been building over the years, and I'm going to go ahead and break that down as I go through. But it is a very exciting day for the U.S. national team. We'll have to see what the fan turnout is. Today's parlay is going to get you more than 10 times your money. Just like I said in the beginning, here we got USA and Paraguay expected to end up in a draw, and Canada versus Bosnia and Herzegovina to start us off. We are expecting Bosnia and Herzegovina to win this match, and we'll go through that in a bit. So we go through the Canada overview. Remember, Soccer Wiki, this is the database where fans, pundits rate players on a 60 to 99 system. You can see Alphonso Davies, unsurprisingly, is at the top of the headlines in terms of how fans and pundits rate him, but he will not be playing today. I'll go through that in just a second. Jonathan David, he's from Juventus, very strong player in the Italian league. You got other European league players throughout the park for the Canadian team, but overall, this is a Canadian team right here that we expect to have a pretty organized defense, but not as much quality in attack. But the headliner is Alphonso Davies, Bayern Munich player. He's been hurt a lot this season. He is still recovering from his injury. He is expected to rejoin them in the third match or perhaps the knockout match. But Alphonso Davies is not going to play in this match here today. He is going to be sitting out. He only played 13 of a possible 34 games in the Bundesliga. Pretty solid when he's out there. He's had some really good performances, but overall, a relative non-factor for Bayern this year. Then we got Jonathan David. Jonathan David, 77 appearances for the national team, 39 goals. He is going to be their top attacking option. You can see for Juventus, he played in 35 of the 38 matches, came on quite a few of those matches as a substitute. He has had some key goals for Juventus this year. Now, they didn't have a great season. We're also going to talk about Weston McKennie, also on Juventus, but not a great season for Juventus. But Jonathan David has had his moments. And I think for a Canada team that really needs quality in attack, Jonathan David is going to find his moments. Now, do I think he's going to find his moments against this tougher Bosnian team? Not quite. But in the end of the day, Jonathan David is going to be their top option for Canada. Going on to the Bosnian team, and this is where I'm really going to highlight, obviously, Edin Dzeko. He played in the 2014 World Cup. 2014 was their first World Cup. This is the second World Cup for Bosnia and Herzegovina. In case you're wondering why Italy's not in this World Cup, it is because of Bosnia and Herzegovina. They were able to win their match in the penalties. Well, their two-legged playoff in the penalties, excuse me. But if you look at some of their other key players, they have a lot of experience on defense. You can see some of those guys, very solid ratings, but also, you watched them play against Italy, you see what a great, tough defensive display they put on. That is the reason why they made it to this World Cup, and they got just enough people in attack. You can look at Edin Dzeko. He is back in the World Cup. He's been out there playing in the Bundesliga and also in Serie A, so he's been between both leagues this season, and he has started in 38% of the potential games, 6 goals, 3 assists, not too bad. He's had a pretty solid season for being a 40-year-old. Again, he went from Serie A to the Italian league, so he's played in a couple leagues this season. He's had to adapt to different styles, and he's done that pretty well. But you look at his record for Bosnia, his debut was in 2007, 148 appearances since then, 73 goals for Bosnia. He is the reason why they made it to the 2014 World Cup. He is the reason why they made it to this World Cup, and he is expected to provide that spark right here in this World Cup for Bosnia. For a Canadian team that I think does not have enough quality, experience, and composure in the defense, another big thing I'm taking into account also in the USA game is just the fact that because USA, Canada, and Mexico are their host nations, they didn't play many qualifying matches. Now, Mexico has comparably more talent than Canada and debatably the United States. But for this Canadian team that hasn't really played big matches, this is going to be a big battle test for them. And given what we saw from Bosnia throughout the European qualifying and also in the playoff against Italy, They just are a much more battle-tested team, and I think that's really going to show on the field alongside their experience. Going to the United States team, you can see a lot of their highest rated players under 30 years old. This is a young team. This is an up-and-coming team. This is definitely a golden generation. I think they're going to peak at the next World Cup in 2030. Said that last time, but I still think the best is yet to come in 2030 for this United States team. But you can see some of the big names that many of us Americans know. Christian Pulisic, or Pulisic, I believe is how you would say it in Eastern European way. Weston McKennie, and also, you see a lot of these other guys too, and even other guys that aren't even on this list. There's plenty of players that we know about, Tyler Adams, among others, that are key players for the United States team. But we go to Christian Pulisic. Just wanted to kind of show you that headline to really capture the essence of what this day is for him. And also, if you look at when he made his debut, it was in March of 2016. So he has been on this team for more than 10 years. He's made 86 appearances, to which he scored 33 goals. He played for AC Milan this season, playing in 47% of the minutes across 30 appearances in the 38 games. But he did come on as a sub quite a bit. Contributed 23% of their goals was pretty good. Now, AC Milan did not have the greatest season either. This was a league that kind of got away from them alongside the Champions League, but Christian Pulisic definitely had his moments, and he is bound to have a couple key moments for the American side in this World Cup as well. You look at Weston McKennie, he had an overall better season. He's been a big part of the Juventus team, starting in 84% of the games, 83% of the minutes. He's also been there for 8.5 years. He debuted in November 2017. He was 19 years old when he debuted. You can see 12 goals and 66 appearances for Weston McKennie. Weston McKennie has been very solid, and he's been a very consistent player for Juventus throughout. He definitely provides a rock in that midfield. But for Paraguay, you look at the way the Paraguay squad is made up. You get some younger players, some older players. I think this is a really good combination for Paraguay. And again, going back to the battle-tested theme right here, Paraguay had to really fight to the end to make it through South America in this World Cup. South America's got some really good teams, and Paraguay was competing really hard and grinding through that. So definitely a great way for Paraguay to go through and to get to this World Cup. But overall, I do think the United States is a bit more of a talented team. But Paraguay, with that experience, I expect this to be a draw today. Look at a couple of their guys on defense. Gustavo Gomez, a couple of their key leaders, a couple of their defensive guys. He was a key part of the Brazilian League team, Palmeiras. There are actually two Brazilian League guys that I'm going through right here. If you do not know, the Brazilian League has become one of the best leagues in South America. They are really growing very well in the last couple of years. It's one of those things with the Brazilian League that they're attracting more and more talent. It's getting very competitive, and a lot of these guys on these South American teams and even Central American teams used it as a great way to prepare for the World Cup. You can see he's been on the team since 2013, 89 appearances to 4 goals. They do play less games in South America. There's less teams. They don't have to play as many matches compared to the Europeans. But overall, Gustavo Gomez expected to be a solid leader, and Junior Alonso. He's also a Brazilian League player. 71 appearances dating back to 2013 as well. And that's the thing about Paraguay. I think Paraguay just has overall more experience and more leadership than the United States team, and overall is ready, more prepared to play in a bigger match. I think the United States team, as much as they have solid talent, they just don't have the big match experience with these guys. And this is something that I think is going to really translate into a draw for both teams. That is a wrap for today. Again, our pick, Bosnia winning the game, Paraguay and USA ending up in a draw, but a very exciting day for us North Americans here. Canada's about to get going. USA is going tonight. It is going to be tremendously excited. We will be back at it tomorrow. We got a big matchup tomorrow, Brazil and Morocco. That is one of the best matches of the entire group stage, not just of tomorrow. We're going to go ahead and break that one down, and we're also going to recap what we saw tonight in the United States game, in the Canada game, among all others. Enjoy. Have a great day today. Enjoy the matches. Let's launch with purpose.